All right.
Sorry,
So
sir.
yeah,
We have started today a bit late. I got
no, that's okay.
extra
That's okay.
classes.
No problem. That's not a problem. Okay. So
Alright.
it's fine since we are studying we are in a digital world now, so it's very flexible. Okay. Don't worry about that.
Alright.
Just let me know as early as possible. Okay, so that I can also shift my other classes as well, or I can reschedule for you. Okay. So if you let me know early, then it will be better. Okay,
Alright.
so let's continue. If you remember, in our previous class, we discussed about the basics of business. Okay,
Yes.
so today we'll be revising some other business concepts that you have already learned in your university, but we'll be revising again so that your understanding is much clearer. Okay, much more clear.
Yeah.
So if you remember, in our last class, we ended here, right? Social enterprise.
To enterprise.
Social enterprise.
Yes.
So basically, social enterprise are any business organization who aims to achieve these three objectives. Okay, that means their aim is to take care of the economic. Their one of their objectives is to be economic. That means financial, actually, to be honest, or what you understand by profit. Okay, they aim to make profit. So it's not a charity. Okay, many people confuse social enterprise with charity, but that is not correct. Charity, they do business, but all their money, all the revenue goes to some specific purpose. Let's say, for example, helping the street homeless people, for example, okay, or saving the dolphins, for example. Okay, but here their motive, one of their motives, is to make profit. So they are actually more profit focused than charities. Their second objective is to be social. Okay, so obviously they also support something social or any social activity. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
maybe they employ handicapped people, all right, people without hands or people with some disadvantages, for example. Okay, and they also care about the environment. So basically, they try to protect the environment in any way they can. Okay, maybe they operate their business in an environment friendly way, or they donate some money to plant some trees, for example, or to reduce the pollution in the environment. Okay, so
Okay.
these are their aims of social enterprise. Uh, okay, now we're going to move to unit 2. So in unit 2, we're going to talk about the various structure of business they have. So you're already familiar with these three things, right? Our primary, secondary, and tertiary business activity. Are you familiar with these three things?
Um, not that much.
Not really. Okay, okay. So primary business actually involves extracting raw materials from the nature. So just look at
Oh,
these examples given here. Let me just actually make it bigger. Okay. Look at these examples: farming, fishing, oil extraction. Okay. So primary business or primary industry, they involve with extracting resources from the nature.
oh, okay.
So you can just think of them as like maybe farmers, okay, or mine workers, okay, or even fishermen. All right. So all these activities here are actually example of primary activity. And then we have the secondary activity, and you can guess what this is. They involve in the manufacturing process. So manufacture is the key word here. Okay. So they use the raw materials. So these primary sector guys, they already extracted the raw materials. Okay. Now it is the job of the secondary business activity to use those raw materials and convert them or turn them into a finished goods. All right. For example,
Okay.
anything you manufacture in any factory is actually part of the secondary industry or secondary business activity. Okay. So if you see garments, okay, they are in the secondary business. If you see Toyota, they are in the secondary business. Okay.
Okay.
What about schools and hospitals?
Tertiary.
They are tertiary, right? So because why? They provide services. Okay, that's the keyword here. All right.
So primary is extracting the resources. Secondary is use the resources. Use
manufacturing,
the extraction
right.
resources. Manufacturing.
Manufacturing,
Tertiary is the service.
providing services, right? Exactly. Okay. So, for example, let's think about cars. Okay. So, to make the cars, you need aluminium, right? To make the body of the car.
Yes.
So, when you're extracting aluminium from the ground, that is a primary business
Primary.
activity. Okay.
Okay.
And then that aluminium goes to the Toyota factory, right? And
Mm.
those guys are converting or using them or converting them into cars. So that is a secondary activity. And then finally, when the car goes to the showroom, the salespeople are selling them, right, to the customers. So that is like a service. So that will be a tertiary business.
Tertiary.
Okay. You know?
Okay. Yes, understand.
Oh, good. All right. Sometimes usually most of the countries, they go through a change in activity. So for example, when you go to Africa, which type of business activity will you see? More common, more frequent.
In Africa, primary.
Primary, right, exactly. Because African countries are not so developed, right? Except for maybe South Africa and few other countries. So if you go to Zambia or Zimbabwe, countries like that, you usually, in most cases, you will see farmers, right? Farming, which is primary activity. However, if you go to India, right, you'll see, or Japan, you'll see they are mostly secondary business or secondary industry. Okay, so you know Sony and the Toyota, all these big companies, they are involved in the manufacturing process, right? Or even in India. But when you go to the Western countries like USA, Canada, Europe, Australia, you will see that their tertiary sector is the biggest. You won't see much farmers there. I mean, you'll see a few, but mainly they'll be focused on providing services. So all these big insurance companies, all the big banks, all right, they are located in these Western countries. Okay. So usually a country moves from one type of activity to the other. So Australia, maybe 50 years ago or 100 years ago, Australia was here, right? Australia was only focused on farming or primary activity. And then when they got a bit richer, they started making factories, right? And when people from other countries came in and they invested money, right? They started making factories. And then when they got even richer, okay, they focused less on secondary, but more on tertiary. So they started making universities, banks, insurance, okay? And then telecom industry. So as a country develops, they move from one business activity to the other. You know, Adam? Okay, this is actually shown displayed in this diagram here. Right. You see in United Kingdom, this shows the employed data, okay? What percent of total employment is actually allocated in each sector. So as you can guess, in United Kingdom, only a very few people are actually employed in the primary sectors, and then a bit more in the secondary, but the highest is in the tertiary. Okay.
Okay.
And then in China, you can see still highest number of people are involved in primary. Okay. And then some secondary, and then some in tertiary. And then in Ghana, it's the opposite. The highest are employed in the primary. Okay. So it changes. Okay, it varies from country to country.
What about Malaysia?
In Malaysia, I would say Malaysia is somewhere in secondary, right? Malaysia is a developing country, not yet developed. But they are starting to have good universities, good banks. Okay, so maybe after 10, 15 years, they'll be mostly focused on the tertiary.
Okay.
All right. Now here they're talking about what's the benefit of a country moving from primary to secondary. That means from a primary business activity or a primary production to secondary production. What are some of the benefits? Okay. So first of all, the benefit could be the national output increases, right? So obviously, whatever you're producing as a farmer, potatoes and tomatoes, obviously when you build factories, you can produce more, right? Because factory is more efficient at producing, because you have all these machines, you have all the workers, you train the workers, so it's much more organized than farms, right? So ultimately, obviously, your country's output will be more,
Increase.
will increase. Okay. And then when you have
So
more
this
output,
one is
Yeah.
sorry. This one is from primary to secondary. Right?
yes, they're saying that a country is moving from primary to secondary. So what are the advantages of that, or what are the benefits they will enjoy? The second one is when you increase your output, it results in lower imports, because you see, when India started manufacturing their own cars, that's called Maruti, they stopped importing Toyota from Japan, and that is a good thing for the country, right? That is a good thing for the country, because more import means bad, because your money is going to Toyota, going to Japan.
Yep.
So this is a good thing. When your output is more, you don't have to rely on import, or you can reduce your import. And even sometimes you can even export. If your quality of the car is very good, you can even export. Okay, unfortunately, India's Maruti cars are not very suitable, so they still couldn't export yet. But if after some point, or after some years, if they can improve the quality, maybe they will export to Bangladesh, or they will export to Dubai. Okay. Expanding manufacturing business will result in more jobs. Obviously, when you build more factories, you employ more people, and then farms will earn more profit. And more profit is also good for the government, because more profit means more tax to the government, right? Every company has to pay some tax.
If you earn more, right,
Yeah.
you need to pay tax more, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's true for most countries. There is some different taxation system called regressive tax or proportional tax. Okay, where things are a bit different, but for most countries they use progressive tax system. That means the higher you earn, the higher you pay tax. But that is, to some extent, that is good, because unless your government is corrupted, that money, that means your money, will be used for the poor people, right? The government will build schools for the poor, or hospitals for the poor, or even for developing the country. They will use that money to develop bridges, to build roads. Okay. So that's a good thing. All right. Next, this is similar to the first point, so I will just skip it. Okay. Now, what could be some problem if you're moving from primary to secondary? What are some of the problems that you might face? Many people will come to the city, right? The village people, they will come to the city because they want jobs, they want to work in the factories, and that will be bad, because maybe your city does not have enough capacity for all these people, right? There will be problems like traffic jams, right? Or even more crimes. When a city gets more populated, there is more crimes, okay? More pollution. So all these problems. Okay? And then sometimes you might have to import the raw materials. Yes, true, you have the factories, but you don't have the raw materials. For example, you open the garments. Okay, you want to manufacture clothes, but the problem is you don't have cotton. So what you have to do, you have to buy it from India or China, right? And that will increase the import, which is bad for the country. And third is, much of the growth of manufacturing is due to the expense of multinational companies. Okay. You won't understand this point later now. You'll understand later. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Usually, many multinational company comes and opens factory, but the problem is, whatever money they earn as profit, they send it back to their country. Okay. So in a way, money is going out of our country through them, which is a bad thing. Right? Don't worry about that now. We'll discuss about this particular issue later. All right. Now look at this. In developed economies, situation is reversed. That means there is a decline in secondary, but increase in tertiary. So that's what I told you, right? As a country becomes more
Yes.
and more developed, they start focusing on the tertiary.
Tertiary.
Tertiary. Okay. And then they've given some reasons for that. Why is the tertiary increasing? The tertiary sector is increasing because people involved in tertiary sector earn more. Right? Rising income and high living standards have led consumers to spend much of the extra income on services. So people nowadays want services. They don't want goods, right? They want the best university. They want to go to the best hotels. They want to put their money in the best banks, right? So the importance of services has been growing very fast. Okay. And that's why the services industry has been growing. Okay. And then another reason is that just we saw that when you have factories, you might have to import lots of things, raw materials. Okay.
Yes.
So in order to stop that, people actually rather focuses on service rather than manufacturing. And in manufacturing, there is even more competition. Because when you're manufacturing, you always have to think about lowering your cost. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Reduce your cost. You have to be efficient. There is too much competition. So that's why many countries, they cannot cope up with that pressure. Okay. So that's why they just focus more on the tertiary rather than this. So these are two main reasons why the tertiary sector has been growing. All right, next thing, public sector and private sector. So public sector has to do everything with government, right? So any organization that is owned and controlled by the government is called public sector. And everything else falls in private sector.
Private sector.
That means business that are owned individually or as a group are called private sector. Okay, now inside the private sector, there is even further categories. Okay, let me show you.
2, 3.
Yeah, let me show you. Yeah, look at this. This is what you need to remember.
Okay.
So there is sole trader, partnership, limited companies, and cooperatives. Okay, and under limited companies, we have even two further categories. One of them is private limited, one of them is public limited. Now, some students, they make a mistake. Okay, look at this. They think that this public limited company means public sector. These are two different things. Okay.
Yeah.
So public company or public sector means it is owned and controlled by government. But here we are talking about public limited. Look at this word, limited, or
Public
PLC.
limited.
PLC. Okay. PLC, public limited company. So you have to be very careful. This is not owned or controlled by government. Okay. This is just like any other private firm, but obviously there is some difference. Okay. We'll learn the difference later on. So remember again, public limited company and public companies are not the same. Okay. Usually in most cases, public companies are actually called public sector companies.
Oh.
So basically, if you just hear the word public company, you can say it is owned or controlled by the government. But if you hear public limited company, then the government has nothing to do with it. Okay, it's separate. It's like private sector. It's in the private sector or a private company. Okay, but obviously there is some difference. There's all these private sectors has some unique features, which is different than the others. They have some similarities. They also have some differences. Okay, so we learn. We learn about the unique details. And in your subject in business, also in your university degree, we will mostly deal with private sector. Okay.
Oh.
Mostly private sector, because in public sector there isn't much to discuss actually. So most of the things you will learn in your entire degree will be related to private sector. All right, now let's focus on the first one, sole trader. Okay, so what does the word sole means? Have you heard this before, sole trader?
only one person.
Right, right. So look at the key term.
Solo.
Look at the key term here. Have a look.
Sole trader.
Business
Business in which
in
one?
which one person provides the permanent finance. So this is the keyword here. It is owned and controlled by only
By
one
one
person.
person.
Okay. It
So
can't
there's
be
no
two.
sharing.
It can be two. So, for example, if me and my brother Arif open a business, it will never be a sole tradership business. Okay. Because so according to the rule, so any sole trader business or all sole trader business must have only one owner.
One person.
And usually
Okay.
he manages. He is the owner and he is also the manager. So he manages the finance, the human resource, okay, everything. Usually the small shops are sole trader. If you see a small shop near your house, convenience store, okay, it is sole trader. Example of sole tradership, okay. In Malaysia, you have 7-Eleven stores, right? 7-Eleven stores.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So 7-Eleven could be an example of sole trader, okay? Not the 7-Eleven company itself, but when someone is taking it as a franchise. Sometimes, okay, so that in that case, it might be a sole trader business.
Wait, sir. If it's franchise,
Yeah.
it's share, right? Sharing, right?
If it is franchised, then what? Sorry.
How can franchise consider sole traders? Because franchise is like you share, you get the permission
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
other
Right.
company.
Right. Right. So the things you can operate as a sole tradership. Actually, franchise
Oh.
itself is a totally different category. Okay. But
Oh.
the thing is, there is even rules inside franchise that you can operate as a sole trader, but you have to give some part of your profit as royalty. We call that royalty fee. Okay.
Oh.
So you can operate as a sole trader, but you have to give some of the fees to the company.
Oh.
And some franchise might even allow you to run with a different name, for example. Okay. So it's a very complex issue, and it's actually franchises. That's why actually a different category, an entire different category. But some franchises give you permission to operate as a sole trader, as long as you are giving them royalty fee. So we'll come to franchise later on. Don't worry. Now let's look at partnership. So what is partnership? Partnership is almost same as sole trader, but you have more than one owner. So usually it's between 2 and 20 owners. Between 2 and 20.
Oh.
Now there are some advantages and disadvantages of partnership. Okay, I won't discuss all of them. Maybe a few.
Okay.
So and you'll see that some of them are common to sole traders as well, because sole traders and partnerships are very similar, except for the number of owners. Right? In sole trader, it is just one. In partnership, it is more than one. That's it. Now, what could be some advantage? Easy to set up, right? It's also an advantage for sole tradership. So if you have the money today, you can even open the shop next week. It's that easy, or even after 2 days. All right, just get a trade license and that's it. Usually, it is very easy to set up. And then you have all the control to yourself. So no one messes around with your business, right? You can control whichever way you wish, whatever way you wish. And you can keep all the profit, right?
Yes.
I mean, obviously you have to share with the partners, but you don't have to share the profit with any shareholders. You know what are shareholders?
The customers, all of them.
Right. Shareholders are actually included or involved with private limited companies. Okay, public limited and private limited companies. We'll come to that later on. Don't worry.
All right.
And then you can choose your time of working. You have flexibility of working, right? You can go to the office anytime you want. You have freedom. And then you can benefit from the skills of the owner. So that is a main advantage of partnership. So for example, I'm good at, let's say, accounting and finance, right? But my brother is good at, let's say, managing the human resource, managing people. So if you open a business, I can take care of the accounting part, right? And he can take care of the employees, the workers part. Maybe he can train the workers, maybe he can motivate them to work harder. He can hire them, fire them, okay? All those things will be dealt by him. But I will deal with the money coming in, money going out, okay? All these things. So that is why this is a good thing, right? Maybe each partner is skilled at different tasks, or each partner can take a different responsibility, okay? So that your partnership business will run smoothly. Understood? Adam?
Yes.
All right.
Understood, sir.
All right. Now let's look at some of the problems. Look at this unlimited liability. Now, what does this mean? This is a very, very important concept. Okay. Unlimited liability means, first of all, let's discuss about liability itself. What does liability actually mean? Liability means, yeah, we can go ahead.
You owe someone. You owe someone, technically.
Right. So we're talking about business here. So it's whatever money the business owes, right?
Yeah.
Because most business, they deal on credit basis, right? They buy the goods now, but they pay later, right?
Yeah.
So the problem with partnership and also sole tradership business is that both these business types have unlimited liability. That means if they fail to pay back the money which they owe to their suppliers, in that case, the suppliers can take them to the court. The suppliers can take legal actions against them. Okay, and then the court might see that, okay, you have a car, you have a house, and the court will force you to sell your house or to sell your car and pay the suppliers back their money. Did you understand? Hello? Hello, Adam, are you listening to me?
Yes.
Okay. So did you understand the concept of unlimited liability?
Yep.
Okay.
Understand.
Okay. So unlimited means your liability is never limited. Okay. It can go beyond your business into your personal life. If you can't pay your suppliers, okay, you might have to sell your personal asset. You might have to sell your PS5 or your car or your house. Okay. That is why it is called unlimited. Clear now?
Unlimited. Okay. Clear.
So there is no limit to your credit or no limit to your liability. Okay. Now, what is limited liability? I will come to that later when we study the other type of business. Okay.
Okay.
They often face competition from bigger firms, so this is common sense. In economics and also in business, you'll see you'll be able to write many answers by using your common sense. Okay. You don't have to, unlike science subjects, you don't have to remember any specific particular theory or formulas. That is why it is very interesting, these business subjects and economics. So obviously, these type of firms are small, right? Smaller, partnership and sole tradership. So a common problem they face is that they face competition from bigger firms. Okay. So in that case, because bigger firms, they can sell goods at a cheaper price, right?
Yes.
And maybe bigger firms are more popular, right?
Yeah.
So that's why people will go to them and not go to the small partnership business or small sole trader. Okay. In that case, they will face difficulties. Okay. Difficult to raise capital, yes, because usually bank does not give them loan because they're small. They are very unpredictable. Okay. The bank knows that they might survive next year or they might not. It's very risky. So why should I give them money? I will not give them money. Okay. Because it is uncertain if they will survive the next year. Many small business they open, they try for 1 year, 2 years, even 5 years. They fail, they close down, they go home. All right. So these are the problems of small businesses, both for sole traders and also partnerships. Okay, clear?
All right, clear.
All right. Okay, there are even more advantages and disadvantages, but these are really self-explanatory. All right, you can just go through them.
All
If
right.
you don't understand specific things, you can just send me a snapshot.
All right, sure.
All right, now let's discuss limited companies. So what are limited companies? Or what are the features of limited companies? The first thing is that limited companies have limited liability. By the way, can you tell me how many types of limited companies are there?
Two.
Two, yes. What are those?
The private one and the public
Very good. Very good.
public sector.
Private limited company, public limited company. Okay. So after the name of many popular companies, you will see the word LTD. For example, Coca-Cola Ltd. For example, I'm just saying, okay, Coca-Cola Ltd. Or in some company, you will see PLC. For example, Google PLC. So LTD actually means private limited company. PLC actually means public limited company. Okay. Even though they don't always show them in the logo, but if you see one of their formal or legal document, you'll see the words there. Okay. Now, let's learn what are their features. The first feature of limited companies is that they have limited liability. Okay. So what does limited liability means? Limited liability means their liability is limited up to a certain point. That means you cannot touch their personal life. Okay. So for example, I think before even limited company, they should have understood, they should have explained about shareholders. Okay, there is something about shares there. Okay, so are you familiar with the concept of shares and shareholders? Do you understand what they are?
Can I explain to you?
Okay. So share is like buying a part of a specific company. So let's say you don't have enough money to buy Google, right? Or to buy Facebook. So in that case, what you can do, you can only buy shares. So share is actually a small part of Facebook or small part of Google. Okay, and you own it. Okay. So let's say Arif, me, and you, we three of us want to buy, let's say, Facebook. Okay. So Arif will buy, let's say, 10%, and I will buy, let's say, 25%. You will buy 25%. Okay. So 10 plus 25 plus 25, that's like 60% of Facebook. Okay. So how much is left now out of 100%? 40. So that 40% may be owned by Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. All right. So this is called shares and shareholding. So
we own partly of.
Right. You own part of the company. Okay. So if you're a rich person, you can buy shares of several companies. You can buy some shares, some Facebook shares, some Microsoft shares, some Google shares, Tesla shares, Toyota shares. Okay, if they are selling shares into the stock exchange, a place where they buy and sell share is called stock exchange. Okay. Anyway, we'll come to that later on. Now let's come back to limited liability.
All right. Sure.
So the thing is, Facebook has to buy lots of things on credit, right? Maybe they buy some technology, some space. They need huge amount of space, right? Because of share uploading, because people are uploading hundreds of photos every day, thousands of photos and videos every day, right? So Facebook also has expenses. They have to pay billions of dollars to other companies. Okay. In some cases, they need money to buy other smaller companies. For example, they bought Instagram and WhatsApp. You know this, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now the problem is, let's say Facebook bought $10 billion worth of things, but Facebook couldn't pay the money back for some reason. Now, can the suppliers of Facebook come to us and ask for the money? What do you think? So
Yes.
remember, in our example, me, you, Arif, and Mark Zuckerberg are the owners of Facebook. Okay, we're the owners of Facebook. So for some reason, Facebook are now in high debt. Okay, they have billions of dollars of debt. Okay, but it is not possible for us to pay that debt because we only got what, maybe I invested $10,000 only. You invested $5,000 only. How are we going to pay billions of dollars back to the suppliers of Facebook? It is impossible, right?
Yep.
So that is why we have limited liability. Okay. So that means when I'm investing $10,000 in Facebook, that is the highest number of money that I can lose. You cannot touch my personal asset. Okay. Other than that, you cannot come to my home and say, okay, you need to sell your PS5 or your car. We have a lot of debt. You can't do that. That is why we are called limited liability. That means my liability is only limited up to a certain point. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you are investing $5,000 in Facebook, what is the highest number of money you can lose if Facebook, mess up with something? The highest money you can lose is $5,000, right? Whatever you have invested, you won't lose anything beyond that.
Oh,
You understand?
so like you invest in that certain money,
Yeah.
and if the company cannot, like they have in debt,
Right.
so you
just
you
lose
lose
that
the
money, right? You lose your investment. That's it. But Facebook cannot ask for your car or your house, okay? Because
Okay.
your liability was only limited up to the money you invested, and that's it.
All right.
Okay, that is why, that is the reason it is called limited liability. Now think and remember what was unlimited liability. Can you now tell me what is unlimited liability?
Unlimited liability is where if you owe the
Suppliers,
the supplier, and then if you don't pay them, they can affect your life.
personal assets, right?
Personal assets. Yeah.
Personal assets too. So they can claim your PS5 or your house, in your house, right? But they cannot do that in limited liability. So that was the main difference between all these things. These two have partnerships and sole traders. They have unlimited liabilities. Okay. But this company, cooperative is actually different, very different. We'll talk about them later. But other than partnership and sole traders, okay, these limited companies have limited liabilities. Okay. For both types. Okay, now the second characteristics, legal personality. So what is legal personality means? That means the legal identity is separate from their owners. That means you can sue the company, but not the owners. So let's say because of Facebook, someone committed suicide. Okay, let's say he was seeing on Facebook, maybe he saw that his friends are having a very good life, but he's depressed. Okay, so that's why maybe he committed suicide, and Facebook is responsible. So his parents can sue Facebook, but he cannot sue you or me or Arif or Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, why? Because we have separate legal identity. Is it clear? Our identity is separate than the business identity. It is like the business has its own life, as if the business itself is a own person by itself.
All right.
So that is what is called separate legal personality. Okay. So the identity of the company is separate than their owners. Me, Arif, and you and Zuckerberg are the owners, and Facebook is our company. So Facebook is at one place and we are on the other side. Okay, there is no direct legal connection between us two. All right. So if Facebook gets into trouble, it's not a problem for us. I mean, legal problem. Okay. Obviously, if Facebook is not making money, if they're making loss, it's a concern for us, right? We'll be worried. Because ultimately, why did we invest in Facebook? You earn more money, right? You earn money.
Yep.
So if they're not making money, it's a concern for us, but inshallah, we'll actually fix that. We'll try to manage that. But if Facebook faces legal problems, like if someone sues them or the supplier sues them for whatever reason, then we are safe. We don't have to worry. We can sleep in peace. Okay. And then the third point is continuity. So that means even if there is a death of an owner or a director, the firm or the company continues operating.
So continue.
Okay.
Oh, like Apple.
Right, Apple. So even after Steve Jobs died, that still continued, right? It still survives.
Yeah.
And even Microsoft, if Bill Gates died today, it will be another big concern for Microsoft. They'll still continue operating. Okay. But things are very different for sole traders, because in a sole trader or in a partnership, if one of the owner dies, there will be trouble. Okay. So if me and my friend is opened a partnership business, and one of my friend, let's say he used to manage the customers, he was in the customers relations, but he died. Then we'll be in problem, right? And in fact, we might even have to close down as per the law. Okay, that the law says, if the law or the contract says that the partnership business will close if a partner dies, then that's it. Done. We're done.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that is a problem with sole traders and partnerships. But for limited company, it's not a problem. Okay. Even if many owners dies, many directors dies, it's really not a problem. It will continue operating. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So these are the three main features of limited companies. So now let's dig into details. We have, first of all, we have private limited, and then we have public limited. Okay. So let's learn what are the distinction between these two. Let me see what else we have in this chapter.
Well, then it's franchise.
Yeah, there's franchise. I don't think we have much things, so we can finish up inshallah. All right,
Yeah,
so I'll go very fast
right.
because this is just a revision, and then later on you can just revise something from the book. Okay, if you face any problem, then
all right.
you can let me know inshallah.
Okay,
all right.
sir.
Now, first of all, let's look at private limited company. Okay.
Okay.
Now look at these key terms. Private limited company is a small to medium-sized business that is owned by shareholders who are often members of the same family. Now, listen carefully. Both private limited company and public limited company has shareholders, right? That means they sell shares. Okay. But in a private limited company, the shareholders are the members of the same family. That means there is no outsiders. Okay. For example, if me and Arif open a coaching business, all right, and I can only sell shares, we can only sell shares to our friends and relatives. We cannot sell our share to you because you are not anyhow connected with us. You are not my family member or my friends, right? So that's why it's called private. That means you only sell your shares to your private collection only. Did you get it? Hello?
Yes, sir. Seems like I was like muted. I was muted somehow.
Okay, just let's wait a few seconds, okay, for that. inshallah. By the way, were you able to download the previous video?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay, and it runs smoothly, all good?
Oh, sorry, sir?
Everything is good in the video?
Yeah, everything is good.
All right,
Everything.
all right. And there is also a separate file that's just audio only, okay?
All right, sure.
So I have sent you both the audio and the video separate. All right. Now, can you tell me what I told about private limited company? Why is it called private limited company?
It's because it only consists of the family members.
Right. You can only sell shares to your family members. Okay. You
Sir,
can, yeah,
if you're the owner, right,
yeah.
you can select lah. You can select the people lah. Even if it's not your family lah.
Actually, you have to have some sort of connection. That means
Oh.
it might be my friend. I can even sell to my friend. Okay. And actually, I can even sell to you. Okay. Because you know, we have a connection as well. You are my student, I'm your teacher, so that is fine as well. So the thing is, I can only sell to people I know personally. That's the main thing. That is why it's called private. Okay. But you can never ever sell to the public, general public. Okay. General public means people who with whom you don't know, you don't have a more connection. All right. You can never sell. Okay. But in a public limited company, you can do that. That is why it is called public limited company. Okay. You can sell
All right.
to hundreds and thousands of people whom you don't know. For example, Facebook is a public limited company, and from Malaysia you can buy some shares of the Facebook, right? And Mark Zuckerberg will never know your face. Maybe he'll know your name, but not your face. So that is why it is a public limited company. You can sell your shares to the general public.
Okay. Yes,
So
sir.
that's the main difference between public limited company and private limited company. Private limited company can only sell shares to the people they know, okay, or people who are close to the owners, but a public limited company can sell to the general public. Alright. Maybe they can also sell to the people they know, okay, but mainly they sell to the general public. Okay? That means people of the country, people of the whole world, to be honest, if they are a global company. But private limited company cannot do that. Okay. So
Yes,
let's
sir.
say if me and Arif have a private limited company, and if we are selling our shares to American people, then the police will come and catch us because we are not allowed to do that. You understand? Only the public,
Yes, sir.
only the public limited company are allowed to sell shares to the public, no one else.
Yes.
Now, what are the advantages of private limited company? They have limited liability. I've already explained you what that is. They have separate legal personality, right? I've also explained this as well.
Personality?
Yeah, legal identity, same as.
Oh, okay.
It's like the company is separate than the others. Okay. For example, people can take Facebook to the court, but not us, even though we are the owners of the Facebook. Okay, because our identity is separate. Our identity is separate. Okay. It's like playing computer games, right? When you play a computer game, the character in Assassin's Creed dies, but you stay alive, right? In the real life.
Yep.
So the thing is like that. You can run Facebook, Facebook can die, Facebook can get into trouble, but you will always be safe. Inshallah. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
That is called separate legal identity. Okay. Next one, continuity in the event of death. I've also explained this, right? These three things are the
Yes.
main common features.
Yep.
Okay. There are other advantages as well. Able to raise capital from sale of shares to family, family, friends, and employees, people whom you know. Okay, you can raise capital. That means you can raise money. Okay. So why do companies sell shares? Can you tell me? Why do the big companies like Google and Facebook they sell shares? What's the reason?
To expand.
Right, they need money. Right.
Oh yeah.
Everyone needs money. Doesn't matter if it is Microsoft or it's a small shop, 7-Eleven shop. Okay, everyone needs money. And to get money, they sell shares. Okay. To get money, they sell
Oh.
shares. For example, you can buy a Facebook shares for $100, for example. Okay. $100. But 1,000 or 1 million people can also buy those shares. So ultimately, how much money if they sell 1 million shares at $100? How many money is Facebook going to get? So I'm telling you again, there are 1 million people that's in Malaysia, okay?
Okay.
And all of them wants to buy Facebook shares. Okay, and Facebook share is okay, $10 each. I'm making just easy for you. Each Facebook share is $10, and 1 million people wants to buy them. So if Facebook actually sells the shares to those 1 million people, how much money is Facebook gonna get?
$10
$10
1
million.
million.
$10 million.
10 million.
1 million people bought Facebook shares each, right? And each of the shares are worth $10. So you see, within 1 second, Facebook can rise $10 million. It's not a problem for them at all.
Oh.
Okay, and then they can use that money to buy, let's say, what, Viber. You know Viber? It's like
Viber.
what's WhatsApp. It's an app like WhatsApp. Or
Oh,
WeChat.
Viber.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
WeChat.
yeah.
Okay. So they can buy it within 1 day just by raising capital. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Is it
Understand.
clear now?
Understand.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So that's why farms issue shares. They sell shares because they want money. They want to raise capital. Okay. And now
Okay.
think about the people's perspective now. What do you and I get by buying a $10 share? What is our benefit? Tell me.
We get part of the money as well.
Right. We get part of the profit after 1 year, not now, obviously, because Facebook will use our money, right? First.
Yes.
Maybe they will buy a new business and then they will earn some money. They'll earn some profit. Then they will give a little portion of profit back to us, right? And we'll be happy.
Yep.
Okay. So is it
Yes.
clear?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes the value of shares can go up as well. For example, I bought the Facebook share for $10, remember? Or you bought it for $10.
Yes.
So after a few months, maybe Facebook became very popular, right? After 1 or 2 years. This actually happened in real life. When Facebook was young, no one used to know Facebook, right? In 2003, 2002. Okay? No one used to know about Facebook. But still they bought some shares, okay? Because they thought that, okay, let's invest in a new company. But after 5 years, when Facebook became popular, the value of their shares became 1,000 times more valuable. So a $10 share of Facebook became $10,000 within a few years. Did you understand? After 2 years or 3 years, okay? So some people, they don't care about the portion of profit. They rather care about how the value of the share itself will increase. Okay? If the company becomes popular or famous. Did you understand my concept? So when you buy a Facebook share, there is 2 ways you can benefit. Okay? Listen to me carefully, okay?
All right.
When you buy a Facebook share, there are 2 ways you can benefit. The first way is that you'll keep the share with you and you will enjoy some part of the profit every year, right? Facebook will give you some part of their profit every year. That is one way. That is one way you can get rich. The second option is that you know, or you expect Facebook to become even more popular after 5 years, right?
Yes.
So what you can do is you can keep the shares up till 5 years or 3 years. And then once the price of the share goes up, then you sell the share itself. Okay, you sell the shares because the price of the share itself has gone up. Because nowadays,
Oh.
let's say farms does not always keep issuing shares. Okay, they stop at some point. For example, Facebook might say, okay, we have all the money we needed, so we're not gonna issue any more shares. In that case, what will happen? There are still people who are looking for Facebook shares, right? But Facebook is not selling any shares anymore. So who will they go to? They'll go to you, because there is a Facebook shares inside your pocket, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, you have something very valuable to them, so they will offer you money. They'll say, okay, I'll give you $1 million, just give me your Facebook share. Okay, I'll give you $3 million, please give me your Facebook share. Now, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
So this is how your value of your shares itself could go up.
Oh.
All right. So there is two ways you can become rich by buying shares. You can just, if you don't want so much money, just keep the share and enjoy the profit. We call it dividend, right? When a percentage of the profit is given to you, it's called dividend. You keep enjoying the dividend every year.
Yes.
But if you are a very smart person, you can wait for the company to become popular. Okay, and once the price of the share itself goes up, then you sell the shares to some other guy. Okay, who will pay you 10 times more than what you paid for 3 years ago. Okay, clear now?
Understand. Yes,
Okay,
clear.
Very good. So share is nothing but a piece of paper. Okay, it's like a legal document. It says you own 2% of Facebook. That's it. So it will be signed by Zuckerberg and it will be signed by you. All right, that's it. It's just an ownership, small part of ownership. That's it. That's why it's called share. So,
all right, sir.
So that document itself has a value of its own. All right. So if Facebook becomes popular, then the value of that ownership will keep on multiplying. All right, making the value of your share 10 times more or 5 times, depending on how popular the company gets. You'll see that there are many people, they don't care about the profit. Okay, they are just waiting when the price of the share will go up.
Goes up. Yeah.
The moment it goes up, they sell it to the other guy, to some other guy. Okay, who's looking for this. And that's what happens in the stock exchange. You have heard of stock exchange, right?
Stock market, right?
Stock market, right? So people like you, will go to the stock market to sell Facebook share, and other people from China, Bangladesh, India, they will come to buy that share from you. Okay, so all those buying and sellings of shares are done in the stock market.
Oh,
is it clear?
Yes.
So nowadays stock market occurs digitally. All right, not always physical. There are some physical stock market, like if you see the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, or there is also Nikko, Japanese stock exchange. Okay, those are physical places. There is actually people going there and making deals, buying and selling shares. But nowadays you can even do it digitally. That means you don't have to go to the specific place or stock market. If you want, from Google or from internet, by using internet, you can buy Facebook share, Google shares, okay, Tesla shares, Coca-Cola shares. All right, Adam, is it clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay.
Understand now.
Okay. Actually, I took a lot of time for explaining the share, but it was important. It was very important. Okay. Now the issue is, do you have half an hour more, or should we continue this next time?
We can continue right now.
We can continue. Okay.
Yeah.
If you continue, then maybe we can just finish it within half an hour.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just continue. Let me get some water. Okay. If you forget whatever I'm teaching you, just see the recording again. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now let's come back to limited company. We are talking about private limited company. Okay. And we have learned that in private limited company, they can only sell to the family members, right? Friends and employees. Okay. Now, what could be a problem for private limited company? It takes time to open the company. All right, and there are also some formalities. Okay, you have to visit, you have to go to many people, government officials to take permission.
Mm,
You need licenses, you need permission, you need lots of documents, lots and lots of documents to open a limited company. It's not so easy like sole trader and partnership. Okay,
yes.
that is one problem. And you cannot sell to the general public. So that is a problem. Since you cannot sell to the general public, maybe you cannot raise enough money, right?
Oh yeah, true.
Okay, that is a problem, because yes, you can sell to family members, yes, you can sell to friends, but how much can you raise? Maybe you have 5 family members, maybe you have 10 friends. Okay, so the money you can get from them is very limited, maybe
Very less.
10,000, maybe $5,000 or $10,000. Okay, not much. But public limited company, they can sell to millions of people throughout the world, right? So within a second, they can actually earn
Get more.
millions of dollars, not thousands, millions of dollars. Okay, because they have
Yes.
access, they can sell to the general public. That is one of their big advantages. All right, and it might be difficult for you to sell share as well, because you cannot advertise it anywhere. Public limited company can advertise, or they can use a stock broker, or they can use a stock exchange market to sell their shares. But for you, since you're a private limited company, you have to call your friend, you have to call your family members, you have to send them emails, you have to request them. So it's more difficult for you, right?
Yes.
Difficult to sell shares. Okay. All right. There will be inspection. Okay, inspection means since you're a big company, the government might come and make sure that you are doing everything legally. You're not doing anything illegal. Okay, or you're not cheating with the people. Anyhow, okay, so you might face some inspection. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go to public limited company, advantages and disadvantages. Okay, limited liability, same as private limited companies. Separate legal risk, it's also the same. Continuity, it's also the same as the previous one. Ease of buying and selling of shares. Yes, now this is an advantage because you have stock markets.
Public.
You
Yeah,
have stock markets, right? Stock market is just like a fish market. Okay, there is always buyers and sellers. You can buy whatever you want, you can sell whatever you want. There is always buyers, there is always sellers. Okay, so that's why buying and selling share is easy in a public limited company, not a private limited. And then you have access to substantial capital resource. Yes, since you can easily get lots of money, you have access to finance, you have access to large amount of money, right?
Oh,
that,
okay.
that is a good thing. Okay, now problem, legal formalities. Yes, same as private limited company. You need lots of permissions, lots of documents, lots of licenses to open your business. Okay, and then there is high cost for you because since you are a bigger public limited companies are usually bigger than private companies. Okay, private limited companies. So you might have to hire some CEOs, special financial advisors. Okay, and you have to pay them lots of money to make sure your business goes smoothly. Share prices are subject to fluctuation. Okay, you will understand that later on when you understand the economy. Okay, it's an actually.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, the share prices are not always constant. Okay, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
like
it fluctuates.
yeah, it fluctuates. It's not like Facebook shares are always $10. Maybe today it's $10, but tomorrow it's $9, and then the after
It's like
tomorrow.
the stock market, right?
Right, and $15. Okay, it varies based on the demand and supply, just like we studied in economics, right? Price is determined by demand and supply. Same thing for shares. Okay. Legal requirements for disclosing from shareholders to the public. Okay. For example, annual publication of detailed report. Okay. By law, you are required to disclose your reports to the general public. And what does report means? Report means all the details, every single details of your company. How much money you earned, what was your expense, how much profit you made, how was the profit distributed. Okay, all those things you have
to the public.
Right, you have to inform the public. That means you have to
Oh.
put it on your website so that anyone can look at it by searching from Google.
Okay.
So that is a problem from them, because some companies does not want to share these details, right?
Yeah.
Because when you are sharing your details, you are giving an advantage to your
Competition.
rival competition, right? So that is a problem. Okay, but by law, the law requires you that you must do that, otherwise you're going to go to jail. Okay, or you have to stop your business. You must show the. Now, why do you think it is mandatory? Why do the government wants you to publish or show all your accounting details to the public?
So that people, I don't know, sir. Why?
Yeah, why? Why is the government? Maybe the company does not want to do that, but the government is forcing you, and telling you, no, you must show your details, all these mathematical or accounting details to the public. So why do you think the government is doing that, or forcing them to show all the details?
To charge them with more tax? I don't know.
Yes, could be, but for tax purpose, the government itself can go in the company and ask for the report. Okay, but here they are actually forcing them to show it to the whole world, not just to the government, but to the whole world, everyone in the world. It is because so that people can know if the company is good or bad.
Reliable.
Yes. If they can make profit. Because why will I buy Facebook share? Because I need to make sure that Facebook is earning profit, right? If I see in their report, if I see they are not making profit or they are making loss, will I still buy the Facebook share?
No.
No. So that is exactly the reason why the government forces you to see everything. Okay. So for example, when I'm seeing that, okay, Google has lots of revenue, good, they have, but they also have lots of expense, which I did not know. And ultimately, I'm seeing at the end, at the bottom of the report, that they are not making money, rather they are making loss, or they have a lots of debt. They borrowed billions of dollars from, let's say, the American bank, central bank. So after I see all these issues, then I'm saying, okay, sorry, I'm not going to buy Google shares. I thought it would be good, but after seeing all this report, okay, something looks fishy to me. So I'm not going to invest there. Maybe I'll find out some other company and buy their shares. Clear now?
Yes, sir. Understand.
All good. Risk of takeover. Yes, there is a risk of takeover. That means if someone buys more than 50%, he becomes automatically becomes the owner. Yes. So that's why Facebook will never sell you more than 50% of their shares. Okay. Because Facebook does not want anyone else from outside to control their business. Okay. So, but there is a risk of takeover. All right. This is an issue.
So they just they invest in your need, and then if it's more, then they just take it.
They take over, they control it. Okay. That means, for example, if remember the Facebook example I was giving you.
Yeah.
So previously I used to 25%, but if I now buy 26% more extra from Zuckerberg, then Zuckerberg is no more the CEO. I am the CEO because I am the owner.
Okay.
Because 25 plus 26 makes my total share 51, right? 51%. So that means the company will have to listen to me. Whatever I say, they'll have to do. If I tell Facebook to make a movie, they have to make a movie. If I tell Facebook to produce laptops, they have to produce laptops. Because I own 51% of the more shares, more than half of the shares. Okay, clear?
Yes.
All right. Direct influence by shortage of, okay, you don't have to really understand this. It's not a very solid point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about franchise. Okay, sorry, before franchise, there's cooperatives. Okay. Now, what is cooperatives? I'll just explain you in a very brief way. Cooperative is actually a group, okay, a group where which is made by the producer and the consumer themselves.
Oh,
So let's say you need tomatoes and potatoes, right? So what you do is you make a cooperative, you make a group with the sellers of the or producers of the tomatoes and potatoes. Okay.
yes, sir.
So the condition of the cooperative is that people within the cooperative has to sell only to the group members. They cannot sell outside. Okay. That is the good thing. So that means you can always ensure that you'll always have plenty of tomatoes and potatoes, and you can also get it at a cheaper price than the market price.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, it's more
Yes,
like a buyer and seller group. Okay, buyer and seller group, but
Buy
it's
and
not.
sell it.
But it's not. It's not like eBay. eBay is open for everyone, right? Even I can open
Yeah.
an account in eBay or Amazon. It's only a restricted. It's only a restricted group. Not everyone is invited. Not everyone is allowed. So is it clear?
Yes, sir. That's good.
That is cooperative. Okay. Now let's talk about franchise. There are some advantages or disadvantages. You can just look at them later on.
Alright, sure.
Let's talk about franchise. What is franchise? A business that uses the name, logo, and trading system of an existing business. Okay.
Yeah,
So most of the McDonald's that you see in Malaysia are franchises.
franchise.
Original one. Okay. Nowadays there are only a few original McDonald's, and those are located in USA. Most of them, 80% of the McDonald's are franchise.
Franchise. I see.
So they use the name and logo of the business. Okay.
Hmm.
So it is actually, in fact, it is actually a totally different type of business. Okay, you cannot actually say, it is like a sole trader or a partnership, even though they might operate it like that. Okay, but in general, it is considered as a separate form of business. All right. So they're giving example of McDonald's. All right. And there is also benefits and problems of franchises as well. Okay, let's look at some benefits. So if you, let's say you want to open a McDonald's shop, okay, and you want to take a franchise. So what are the benefits that you'll be enjoying?
Your chance of
Fewer
failing.
business failing, yes, because McDonald's is always popular, right? Everyone knows about it.
Yes.
Their logo is popular, their name is popular, even their food is popular, right? Everyone likes hamburger. So
The recipe is also there.
you will be, yes, more chances of being successful. Advice and training offered by franchisor, yes. Now this is the thing. When you open a franchise, okay, the original company will always give you some advice and training. So you don't have to train your staffs. They will get the training from USA, from America. And whenever you face any problem, you can ask for their advice. Okay, so they'll guide you. That is a good thing. Okay, national advertising paid for franchisor. Okay, maybe you don't have to pay for the advertisement because America will take care of it. USA, McDonald's will take care of that. Okay, maybe he will make some ad and post it on YouTube or on the television or newspaper. Okay, so in that way, you don't have to worry about advertisement costs. And then you don't have to even worry about collecting the supplies. Okay, because the thing is, they already have a list of approved suppliers. Okay, quality check suppliers. You'll see that all these big companies like Burger King, McDonald's, okay, even Starbucks, they usually do not take supply from a new supplier. They already have a list, okay, because they trust them. They only buy from them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's why you, when you open the franchise, the American original company will already give you that list or the list of the suppliers. So you don't have to worry about where you get the potatoes, where you get the burger meat or beef meat. Okay? That is taken care of. And then franchisor agrees not to open another branch in the local area. So the less competition for you. If USA, if USA give you permission to open a franchise, they will not give permission to anyone to open another shop
Open
close to you. Yes,
Ah.
close to you or in your area. Okay. So you are the king of your area. You don't have to worry about competition.
Oh.
All right. I mean, obviously there will be competition from others. Let's say, for example, from KFC, other company, but there will not be another McDonald's in your area. Only your McDonald's
Only one.
will be the only McDonald's in your area. Okay? So that's a good thing. Now let's consider some limitation. What could be some problem? Share of profit is given. Yes. So actually, a large part of your profit will be taken away by the original McDonald's.
Oh.
Yes. So that is a bad thing. And then
How much? By how much, sir?
actually it depends. It really depends. In some cases, the royalty fee could be even 60%. 60%. So just imagine you are earning $100, but you're giving $60 to the guy, the original McDonald's. Okay, and you only keep 40. So that is a problem. But it's not the same for every company. Okay, it really varies. Even it might vary from year to year. It's not fixed. And then the license fee would
Expensive.
be expensive, right? Initial fee. It's like an installation cost. So when you take you know about installation cost, right? When you take a new internet service, you have to pay an installation cost, but that is only for the first time. It's not a monthly, right? So when you start your business or franchise business, in the first month you have to pay a large license fee. Okay, so that's a problem. Okay, local promotions might still have to pay franchise. Okay, now you're seeing that McDonald's has given some advertisement on YouTube, right?
Yep.
On a national level or in a national newspaper. But still, people in your area are not coming to your shop. So what you have to do?
You
have
advertise at local.
Locally, yes, locally. Okay.
Your area.
So the national advertisement is not working. So you have to spend from your pocket now. Maybe you have to put some billboards, okay, in a busy area in your area or in a busy road in your area. So that will be expensive. No choice of suppliers. Okay, so if you see that another supplier is actually supplying better potatoes, but you cannot do them because McDonald's gave you permission only to choose from a specific list of suppliers. You cannot go outside the list. So that is a problem. All right. Let's say I think there is no fish burger in McDonald's, do they? Or I think they have fish burgers.
They have. In my area.
Oh, okay, they have. All right. So, what can we say? Let's say camel burgers. Okay, you want to sell camel burgers in your store. So you cannot do that because McDonald's has restricted that for you. You cannot take any camel suppliers. Okay, you only have to choose from the beef suppliers. Okay? So you cannot go outside your range. And then there is strict rules about pricing and layout and everything. Okay.
Yes.
Price. So almost everything is determined by the franchisor,
company,
the main company, original company. You are the franchisee, and the original company is the franchisor. So everything is determined. So you are just working like a puppet, nothing else. All right. You are working according to their rules. You are making money, and you're giving most of the money to them. Okay. And you're
so if you franchise, right?
Yeah.
What about the employees? How do you pay them? Is it the company pay them or you?
No, you pay them. The company will train them.
Oh.
Yeah, the company will train them, but you have to pay them. That's part of your expense. That's part of it.
Oh.
Okay. And then after paying them and after paying all their costs, whatever profit you will get, out of the profit, you have to pay some money to the franchisor. Okay.
Oh.
These are the problems.
Joint venture.
What else do we have? Okay, we have, I think, two more things. There's something called joint ventures.
Yep.
Okay? Joint venture is when two companies are working together. They have not merged. Okay, merged means like a marriage. Okay.
They combine.
Yes, merge means when, let's say, one company is buying the another, or the two companies totally combined with each other. Okay. But joint venture is two companies working together towards a common interest. That's a joint venture. Okay. So why can they? What could be some reason for joint venture? Their cost could be shared. Cost and risk could be shared. Okay. For example, sometimes you need to develop new products, right? And you need to do some research and development, and that is expensive. So what you do is you approach the other company. Let's say you are Sony, right? You are Sony and you produce PlayStation, and the other company is Microsoft. They produce Xbox. Okay. So now you can, maybe you don't like each other, right? So you don't form a merger, but you want to work together. So you form a joint venture. All right.
Okay.
Now you're planning to come up with some new gaming device. Let's say, for example, let's say maybe what do you say? A new gaming device to control your players. Okay. So what you do is you go to Xbox or you go to Microsoft and you say, okay, let's share the revenue, let's share the research and development cost. Okay. So each of us will suffer less. And the result will benefit you and me as well. It will benefit both of us. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another reason for joint venture could be they can share their strength and experience. Okay. Let's say Xbox is better at producing racing games, and PS4 is better at making RPG games, for example. Okay.
So they work
So
together.
they can work together to produce a game where there will be racing and also RPG both together. Okay. Maybe like GTA. All right. So Xbox will actually give some ideas about racing games, and PS4 might give some ideas about action or RPGs. Okay.
All right.
Another reason could be they might have their major markets in different countries, and they could exploit this with the new product. Okay, this is actually related to the first point, so I'm not going to discuss this.
All right, sure.
Now, there is another company called holding companies. Okay. These are not very common. So what could be holding companies? Let's see the definition here. For example, a business organization that owns and controls a number of separate business, but does not unite them into one unified company. Okay. So, you know, Samsung owns some fishing firms. All right. They also own some real estate company. Did you know that?
No, I don't know.
They actually do have. Okay. There was a case study and where we learned that Samsung actually has some real estate. They own some real estate company. They also own some fishing farms, aquaculture farms. So this is an example of holding company. Okay. So they did not merge it. They did not say that Samsung fishing farm or Samsung real estate. Okay. Each of the business are separate in themselves, but the owner of all of them is the one single company. That is the holding company. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's like a company. It's like an umbrella thing. Okay, everything under the umbrella is owned by the person who's holding the umbrella. That is the holding company.
All right.
Okay. And public corporation is the same as public company. Some people call it public company. Some people call it public corporation. Doesn't matter. Same thing. The main thing is it is owned by the government. Okay. Owned and controlled
by the government.
Owned and controlled by the government. Okay. They call it state. It's the same thing. Government. There's other business of public corporations. You know, public corporations are owned by the government, so making profit is not always their main objective. They want to do something good for the people. You know this,
Yes.
right? So there are some advantages. I won't discuss all of them.
Okay.
Let's say I'm going to discuss one point here. Look at this. Loss-making service must still be kept operating if the social benefit is great enough. All right. So the thing is that if something is providing social benefit,
Okay.
let's say they have a public school or public hospital, right? So in public hospital, they don't usually charge money. Maybe they charge, but a very less money, right? To the poor
Yes.
people. So even though they are making a loss, right? Because they are not, if they are not getting any money from the poor people, obviously they are making loss, right? From that,
Yes.
from the hospital. But still they continue to operate. Why?
Social
Because
benefit.
of they don't want poor people to die. They care for them.
Ah,
They care for their life. So that is a good thing.
I understand.
Another good thing is you can raise money. You see that because from the government, because we're paying tax, right? Tax is the main source of revenue. So the government can use the money from tax to run those sort of companies.
Okay.
And the main problem of public corporation is that they are inefficient because they do not
Why-
have any profit targets. They don't want profit.
Oh,
They don't really care about money, right? So when you don't care about money, you don't care about being efficient, right? Only companies that are fighting with each other, that are in competition, that means private companies,
I profit.
are efficient because they always every day they think, okay, how can we make the product better? How can we reduce the cost more? How can we reduce it further? But public corporation, they don't really care. So if you ever go to a public hospital, maybe you will not be happy with the doctor. Maybe the doctor, you'll see that the doctor is playing some games. And then he will just look at your face and give you some medicine without actually asking you any question. All right. So in a public company, in most cases, the service or the goods are not very good because they're inefficient.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll just end it here for today. Let me give you some homework. Maybe you can do this case study, activity 2.6, write it down.
All right. Sure.
Read this
All of it?
case. Read this case, and maybe you can just do number 4.
Number 4. Okay.
Just number 4. 12 more questions. You can skip the other 3. So write it down. Activity 2.6, only question 4.
0.6. He's 26 or so.
All right, done?
Okay. Done.
Okay then. So I hope you understood a lot of things today. So if you can't remember,
That's a lot.
if you can't remember any specific thing, just see the recording again.